the New York Marathon's today. Let's see how far I can go. So if you can't tell, I'm not in New York. I don't live in New York. I'm actually running the Topanga and Santa Monica Mountains today. We're doing a solo mission. Not an official race, no team, a couple water bottles, but I do know where there are a few water fountains on this trail. So we're just gonna see how far we can push it. The other day I did about 21 miles. Felt pretty good during and after. I kind of ended because I was a little bored. Again, I'm not fast while I run. Not fast at all. I aim for pretty slow mile times, and I just look for endurance and distance. So that 21 mile took me, I think it was right around 4 hours or so. I'm just hungry and bored, so I called it a couple miles in already. Got some of the most beautiful views around me, and I just love these mountains. Soon I think I want to get up to Big Bear or some mountain range where there's, big real mountains. My elevation already starts real spiked. We'll get up there soon. Recently while I've been out on the trails, I've been listening to a lot of ambient music, a lot of ambient sounds and noises. Just something that keeps a little stimulation going on in the brain, but really allows me to focus and think through, kind of the purpose and the why I'm doing this. And I'll touch on that in a second, but on Sundays, days like today where I really aim to do lots of my long runs, the ambient music makes it really easy to kind of think through my week ahead plans, right? And that's just been a whole lot of what I've been doing this run, just thinking about the week ahead, what I can do to get ahead and stay on top this week, and upcoming challenges that I know I'm gonna face. So I'm running down to a water fountain, gonna fill up one of the waters, keep it rolling. I want to talk about the why. Sorry if it's windy. It's a real windy day out here. But the why I do this and the why most runners do it. I'm not able to speak for most runners, but every runner has their why they do this. And for me, I think I have three main whys. My previous and past self, my future self, and the love-hate relationship I have with it. I think I'll just touch on the first reason, my previous and past self. Growing up, I was always more on the chubby side. I was fairly athletic, fairly good at sports, right? I could play baseball and football pretty well. Had a lot of fun doing it. I could hit like a beast. And, but endurance was never really my thing. And I was always a little bit on that chubby side, or at least I perceived myself to be. And running was always so far gone to me. I will say that when I was maybe 11 years old, I did a kid's triathlon or something like that. Had a little 5K run in it. That was pretty cool. But, it wasn't until really about a year ago where running became a very active part of my life. I wanted to make a change and began getting consumed with running. When I was younger, I lived an unhealthy lifestyle filled with, just drugs and unhealthy food and just not a very good, healthy, progressive lifestyle. It wasn't going to lead me really anywhere where I wanted to go, at least. And running really gives me, it makes me feel like I have, but not really a purpose, but it makes me feel like I'm progressing towards my goals. You know, I'm doing something challenging again and again and again. And I'm seeing the results, I'm seeing it increase, all that sort of stuff. And that's really what I want to see in my life, is progression. Whether that's one foot in front of another on a run like this, or my business growing, or my relationships flourishing. You know, progression is what it's all about. So that first why is for my previous and past self. The past self that never thought I could do what I'm doing today. The past self that was unhealthy and making wrong decisions and choices and putting the wrong foot forward instead of the right foot forward. That's the main why, and at least my first why, and what I kind of want to go over on this video. So before you go on your next run, find your why. And when you're getting around, at least for me, when I get between that miles 8 through 12, it's really when I gotta start thinking about the why. And knowing that it's what I signed up for. It's what I chose to get myself into. And why did I choose to? These are the reasons why. You know, I realize as I'm making these videos and uploading them and documenting these shorts and all that stuff, I'm doing a bit of personal branding. And yes, obviously I own a branding and manufacturing business that I've touched on in some of these videos. And no, none of these videos that I make are to try to sell you, you know. I actually think that the thesis of personal branding shouldn't lie within manipulation of sales, trying to acquire more customers, generate more revenue, things like that. I actually think the thesis of personal branding really lies within self-discovery and realization of things that are going on beyond your business and beyond just the topics that you're able to touch on in these videos and everything, you know. As I'm making this, we only have a limited time. And so I try to just get straight to the point with some of my thoughts. But none of what I do is scripted or anything like that, right? The ideas just come to me as I'm going on these runs, and I get on here and try to share them. So before and after doing these recordings, I keep these thoughts in my head circulating throughout, and really diving deeper into the conversation that I might be having with the camera here. So I say all that to say personal branding and what I'm doing here by documenting my runs and seeing the progression and hopefully lighting a fire in some of the viewers that are watching these videos is really for, again, myself and understanding myself and self-mastery, right? And I'm just documenting and sharing the experience and the journey with those that care to watch it. So again, if you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate you for sticking around and watching me sweat and run through a mountain. It's not that entertaining, but I hope some of you guys can gain value from what I have to say in these, and I hope that you find them somewhat enjoyable. I might in the near future begin to make new content, such as more work style vlogs and maybe some stuff around my house. I got a pretty cool house and live with some really cool people, and we all do really cool things in the fashion and music and branding industries. So might begin sharing part of that and opening up a little bit more with y'all. But I'm gonna keep it going. We're about 12 miles in. We got a long road ahead of us. Keep it trucking. You know, as I discuss this personal branding sort of talk, I thought a little bit more about it, and I realized I'm a part of the cultural zeitgeist of this personal branding space just as much. But, you know, I want to come through as authentic as possible with it, right? There's almost an epidemic in the cultural branding, or in the personal branding space of, you know, all of these people posting the fancy dinners, driving the fancy cars, with the beautiful women, with the big watches, with on the jets, right? And don't get me wrong, all of those things are great, powerful, awesome things to be able to have and accomplish, but all of those things can easily be bought, can easily be manipulated, right? That car can be rented. You could have just been on a JSX flight, or you could have also just purchased, you know, a $50,000 trip that quite frankly you probably couldn't really afford, but you're able to do it because you know it'll manipulate some of the consumers that are watching the videos into buying that product, into buying that course, into being sold by you, the personal brander, right? And sure, I suppose if that's what you're trying to do and you're doing it well, congrats, that's a success, right? But in my personal branding space, I want to come through as authentic. I want to come through as real. You know, I want to show my struggles. I want to show my wins, and I want to share everything in between, right? And so right now, I'm about 14, 15 miles in, and I got to walk this whole incline. My hips are hurting, that's for sure. But, you know, we're going to just keep it trucking, keep it moving. See how far we can get. Hopefully do about 10 to 12 more miles here, but we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed my little rant on the personal branding culture zeitgeist. Actually, you know, one more thing on that, right? I think a lot of people view it as almost something where anybody can start a personal brand, right? All you have to do is be able to show the right viewpoints, the right light, just like I did right here. I moved the camera over here and I started talking again, right? Anybody can feel like they can start a personal brand, but branding in itself is actually difficult and hard, right? Trying to be able to brand a product is hard, as opposed to being able to manipulate oneself to regurgitate content that you see over and over again into, you know, posting some TikToks, right? Andy Warhol said, you know, and this was before social media was ever a thing and ever around. This is early Andy Warhol. He said, in the future, everybody will have their 15 minutes of fame, right? And it's up to you for what you want that fame to be for and how long you want to exist in that space. But I think that's pretty wise of Andy Warhol, far beyond his days. Anyway, it's freaking windy. It's fucking cold. I gotta start running, but my hips are hurting. It's all vertical incline right now. I'm probably about 2,000 to 3,000 of vertical already in right now. And this is when I go back to the why, right? The earlier talking point in this video, the why I do this. I just gotta remember it's what I signed myself up for. I gotta think of my previous past self, my future self, how it'll thank me for it, and my love-hate relationship I have with this thing. God, I fucking hate running, but I love it so much. Oh my gosh. See you guys soon. Oh, you probably can't see me because I got the headlamp on. It's dark out here. I'm not doing well. I'm freezing cold, and normally I get cramps, but normally I can run through the cramps, right? Like, and right now I'm striking out with that. My knees are just on fire, absolute fire. I'm not doing too well. I'm about 3 hours and 19 minutes in. I got a little limp to me right now. My body's got the chills. I'm getting a runny nose. Man, I was coming into this with super grandiose thoughts about this run and about what I was going to be able to do and accomplish and everything, but you know, I think I'm striking out on this one. And I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? About the manipulation of the personal branding and the cultural zeitgeist of it all and everything, you know. I want to be authentic. I want to show my failures. I want to show my successes. And I want to share everything in between. And this might be a failure. You know, and in some sense, it's a failure. In other senses, it's a great success. I went on a great long run today, right? Everything was good. But I'm hurting bad. Things aren't going as planned. I've been trying to run through this for the last 2-3 miles here, and it's not going well. It's just getting worse. I've tried stretching through it. I'm almost to the next path where I gotta cut and go tack on the last portion of this run before I make the way back, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Oh, we're going. Oh, we're going. One foot in front of another. Mountains think they get me, and they think they got me this time, but little they know I got a special trick up my sleeve for them. It's called push the fuck through. Oh my God. Oh, we're going. Yo, I know the way I feel right now, and I don't like this feeling. It's a feeling of failure, but I also understand, it's not full failure. I learned I need to come more prepared. I just have to. But I need to make sure the day before I do one of these runs, I carb up. The day like today, I need to be eating high energy foods that aren't gonna weigh me down. And then I need to be packing a lunch when I do these. I just feel dead, and I need more sodium, and more electrolytes. I don't like the way I feel right now. And it's not so much the pain, right? It's not the pain from the run. It's the emotional feeling of failure. It sucks. Not my thing. I don't like it. Still put 17 on the board or so. It's pretty good. But not what I was hoping for. It's alright. Well, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something from it. Whether it be on the whys, the personal branding, zeitgeist, or turning failures into lessons. Hope you guys could take something from it. And anyway, catch you guys in the next video.